Hi, I'm Dr. Belinda Cannell. I am a seabird conservation ecologist, and I've been doing research on little penguins for more than 30 years. And in the last probably 12 years, I've been doing other seabird research as well. So on brown boobies and lesser frigate birds and shearwaters and a range of other species. Well, little penguins are the smallest of all the species of penguins. They are about 30 to 40 centimetres tall, and they weigh about a kilo, which I don't know what that is in pounds. About the same as a litre of milk, basically. The males are slightly larger than the females, and both parents will share the incubation of eggs and the raising of the chicks. It takes about 5 weeks for eggs to be incubated and approximately 8 weeks until the chick or chicks, they will lay 2 eggs and in a good year will raise 2 chicks. So about 8 weeks before they leave the nest and go out foraging for themselves. The first one is on an island called Penguin Island, and studies started there in 1986. With 55 nest boxes that were put out on the island. The island is too sandy for the penguins to dig burrows on that island, so they will nest under vegetation, and they would nest under, in the olden days, under buildings and things that were on the island. That island's been cleared of most of the buildings now, and there's lots of boardwalks and things around, but they will still nest under vegetation. And we've now got, I think it's over 150 nest boxes. And those nest boxes have been regularly checked every 1 to 2 weeks for the majority of them since 1986. So we've got a really lovely long-term study, and we look at how well they are during their breeding. So how many eggs they're laying, as I said, which is normally 2, who their partner is, how often they will stay with that partner from year to year. So we will check how often they're breeding, when, the timing of the breeding and how successful those are. And we've also been doing a lot of population estimates on those, on that particular island. So I've been doing estimates in 2007, 8, 10, 11, 17, 19, 23, and 24. I do some tagging of these penguins. I put on satellite tags on penguins while they're incubating eggs, and they can be away for up to 19 or 20 days, which is a long, long time for the other partner to be sitting on the eggs. Normally they aren't normally that long, those incubation trips, but it will depend on the season. It depends on how much prey is around. So, for instance, the penguins on Penguin Island, when we put satellite tags on them, they can travel down to a place called Geograph Bay, which is over 150 kilometres south. So that's a long way for a little penguin to swim. And they, as I said, will be away for up to 20 days, but normally about sort of 8 to 10 days. Now, when the birds are actually guarding their chicks, so after 5 weeks, as I said, it takes 5 weeks for the birds to incubate the eggs, and then the eggs hatch. And then in the first 2 weeks, we call it the guard phase. And that's when the chicks are so little that they can't look after themselves. And during that period, I put on a different type of tag. It's a dive tag, but it also has GPS in it. And those tags, we can't download the data immediately to the computer. So with the satellite tags, we can see immediately where those penguins are. But with these dive tags, we have to wait for the bird to get back and then retrieve the data from the tag. There has been a lot of change. So for the Penguin Island colony, as I said, I've been doing population estimates there over a number of years. And unfortunately, there's been a 94% decline in the population since 2008, which is when we had the peak of birds in those years where I was doing the mark recapture. Which is devastating. That's due to a number of reasons. Climate change obviously is a big one, because, as I said, when we've got increasing sea surface temperatures, that changes the the prey or the fish that the penguins mainly feed on changes how many are around and how close to the colony they are. So that's been devastating, and we do know that we have these things called marine heat waves, and they're years where, or a part of a year where we have much higher temperature than normal. But the Penguin Island, for instance, is only 600 metres offshore, so it is very close to a very rapidly expanding urban area, and a lot of people in those areas like to use the coast for fishing, for jet skiing, for other watercraft activities. And unfortunately, we find that have found that 25% of mortality is due to watercraft injuries in this area. Oh, wow. Yes. Okay. Well, I was always really interested in animal behaviour. And funnily enough, I had always wanted to be a vet. From the time I was 6, I wanted to be a vet. And I didn't get enough marks to get into vet school. And so I did, as I was doing my biology course, I kind of realised that I didn't want to be a vet anyway. I really just wanted to study animal behaviour. And so when I was searching for a PhD, I wrote to several potential PhD supervisors. And one wrote back to me and said, well, in fact, he didn't write back to me. I actually ended up calling him, that's right, because this was back in the days before we had emails and before we had mobile phones. And he said, well, I do have this project. I want to know how penguins catch fish. And I went, perfect. Love it. Thank you. I'd love to do that. But it was an amazing project. And it just started my love affair with penguins or little penguins, because they are so resilient and they have so much personality, and every one of them is completely different. And I think you find that with every animal. But and then I guess as I've learned more and see what dire straits that they are in, and so much of the ecosystem all around the world is in dire straits, and my I guess my passion and my knowledge for these penguins, I'm hoping that I can do something to help save these colonies.